User interface design principles. User interface design creates an effective communication medium between human and a computer. A set of interface design principles are followed, and the design identifies interface objects and actions and then creates a screen layout that forms the basis for the user interface prototype. In today's video, we'll be discussing the 3 golden rules and different design principles based on these golden rules. Let us start. Welcome to our channel Engineering and Technology for You. If you are not subscribed, kindly subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get notifications for our future videos. The topic for today is user interface design principles. Let us start with the golden rules. Theo Mendel has coined the 3 golden rules. First rule is place the user in control. So this means the user should be in control of everything. Then second is reduce the user's memory load. So here we mean that the user should not be forced to remember the commands. That is, we have to reduce the load of the user's brain memory. Then third rule is make the interface consistent. This is very important rule. So if the interface is consistent, then it is easy for the user to use it. So these golden rules, they actually form the basis for a set of user interface design principles. So that guide this important aspect of software design. So using these principles, the software design is carried out. Let us go into the first golden rule, that is the place the user in control. So Mendel defines a number of design principles that allow the user to maintain control over the screen or over the computer. So here the first principle says that define interaction modes in such a way that does not force a user into unnecessary and undesirable actions. The interaction mode is the current state of the interface. So whenever the user is in particular mode, it should be able to enter the mode easily and it should be able to come out of the mode easily. So for example, if you are editing a document in Word processor and then you want to have the spell check, so you can go to the review menu and then click the spelling and grammar. So you'll enter the spell check mode. So here you find the word invest, which is misspelled. So you can simply change it by taking the particular correct option. So just click the change, so that is changed and the spelling and grammar check is completed. So if you just click OK, coming to the second rule, provide flexible interaction. See, because different users have different interaction preferences, choice should be provided. For example, software might allow a user to interact via keyboard commands, mouse movements, digitizer pane, or a multitask screen, or a voice recognition command. So these are different interaction preferences. So this should be allowed. Then the third rule says allow user interaction to be interruptible and undoable. That is very important, because if the user is a beginner, whatever command he has given, it should be undoable. Even when involved in a sequence of actions, the user should be able to interrupt the sequence to do something else without losing the work that he had done. So the user should also be able to undo any action. So this facility is provided in many of the software. Whatever we have done, we can cancel it with the undo button or undo in the edit menu. So that is allowing the user interaction to be interruptible and undoable. Then let us move further. The fourth principle says that streamline interaction as skill levels advance and allow the interaction to be customized. So here we are taking example of macro. So to design a macro mechanism that enables an advanced user to customize the interface to facilitate interaction. So what is a macro? Macro is nothing but a sequence of commands which we can do. So and once we enable the macro, that will be done automatically. We'll see how it can be done. Let us understand what is macro from example from the word. So let us just select a text for making it all caps. So I have selected the text for making all caps. Then I go to the view menu, and in the view menu there is a macro. So I click on that view macro. So here you will be able to see all the macros which are available. From this I can select the macro all caps and simply run it. So once I run it, this text will change to all caps. So this is how we can make use of the macro. Then there is another way of using the macro, that is recording. So you can record the macro with the help of this button. So in this way you can use the macro. Then the next principle is hide technical internals from the casual user. So user should not be aware of the operating system, file management functions, or other technical things, because the user interface should be such that we should hide the technical internals from the user. But it will create problem for the system. If the user clicks something in the operating system, it will lead to some problems. Then the next principle is design for direct interaction with objects that appear on the screen. The user feels a sense of control when able to manipulate the objects that are necessary to perform a task in a manner similar to that would be occur if the objects were physical things. Say for example, an application interface that allows a user to drag a document into a thrash is an implementation of direct manipulation. Now let us take the example of an application interface that allows user to drag a document into the thrash is implementation of the direct manipulation. Here you can see the recycle bin. The recycle bin represents the thrash. So when you want to thrash any document, you can just simply drag it and put it in the recycle bin. So this is example of direct manipulation. Then let us go further. second principle is reduce the user's memory load. So here, a well-designed user interface does not tax the user's memory. Here, by memory means we mean the brain memory, because the more user has to remember, the more error prone the interaction will be. So whenever possible, the system should remember pertinent information and assist the user with an interaction scenario that assists recall. So by just going to the particular, say, aspect of the on the screen, the user should be prompted with the action to be taken, or help should be available when the user is moving around the screen. Then Mendel has defined design principles that enable an interface to reduce the user's memory load. So the first principle is reduce demand on short-term memory. So when users are involved in complex. So when complex operation is being done, the interface should be designed to reduce the requirement to remember the past action, inputs and results. This can be accomplished by providing visual clues that enable a user to recognize past action rather than having to recall them. So that is what, if you can show the clues to the user in a visual form, it will be better. Then next, establish meaningful defaults. That is, here the initial set defines defaults should be make sense for the average user, but user should be able to specify individual preferences. So whatever defaults are there on this to appear on the screen, they should be provided, but however individual preferences you can just specify for specialized users. Then a reset option should be available, enabling the redefinition of original default value. So if the user is unable to give the options properly, a reset option should be available so that the original default values can be loaded. Then the third principle, define shortcuts that are intuitive. So here, say when we are defining the shortcuts, we should make use of the letters which are, say, for the system, they should represent that action. So for example, Control P to invoke the print function can be used, and similarly here we have used the letter P for the task, that is printing. So when you are editing the document and then you want to print it, you can simply use the shortcut Control P. So it will go into the editing mode, and then you can simply press the button print as per your requirement. So in this way you can use the shortcut. Now here we have used Control P, so P is for printing. So in this way it will be helpful. The visual layout of the interface should be based on real world metaphor. So here, for example, if a bill payment system should use a checkbook or a check register metaphor to guide the user through the bill paying process. So that means the actual real world metaphor should be used for a particular task. So this will enable user to rely on well understood visual cues rather than memorizing the interaction sequence. So particularly when we are uh, say designing the interface for a shop. At that time, every time whatever atom that has to be added, it should be added to the cart, and then the user should proceed for the billing. So if you visit the Amazon website, it will be clear to you. Just select an atom, add it to the cart, and then it will further lead you to the billing process. Then the next principle is disclose information in progressive fashion. So uh, interface should be hierarchical in nature. That is, a task, object, and some behavior should be presented first at a level of abstraction, and then you can give the more details. So that is how it should be done. Because what will happen at a time, if you are trying to give, the user will be confused. So more detail should be presented after the user indicates interest. Then the next thing is make the interface consistent. That is the third rule. So the interface should present and acquire information in a consistent fashion. So all visual information is organized according to the design rules that are maintained throughout all screen display. So that is important. There should be consistency in that. Then input mechanisms are constrained to a limited set that is used consistently throughout the application. And the third thing, mechanism for navigating from task to task are consistently defined and implemented. So if you want to have a consistent interface, and in that case you will have to follow these three things. So mechanism for navigating from task to task are consistently defined and implemented. So when we are moving from one task to another, we should be defining those things. Then let us see the different principles based on this. So a set of design principles that help to make the interface consistent. The first principle is allow the user to put the current task into a meaningful context. So many interfaces implement complex layers of interaction with dozens of screen images. A lot of images are there on the screen. So it is important to provide, say, a window title, graphical icons, consistent color coding that enable user to know the context of the work at hand. So that is very important. So current task should be meaningful. So for that we should make use of, say, different colors for the task. Again, you can just see when we are again shopping at that time on Amazon, you can see that the buttons which are important, they are colored in yellow. So adding to the cart or a billing, so that is done in the yellow color. Then in addition, the user should be able to determine whether he has come from and what alternative exists for a transition to a new task. So that is the navigation of the user. It should be known to him. That is another principle which should be followed. Then maintain consistency across a complete product line. See, a family of applications, that is a product line. should be implemented with the same design rules so that consistency is maintained for all interactions. So the best example for this would be Apple. So if you look at the Apple products, for example, Apple iPhone and Apple iPad, there is complete consistency in this application. Okay, even the icons used for these applications, they are same, and even the layout of the icons, that is also done in the same way with the iPad and iPhone. So becomes very easy for the user to use this application. Then the next rule is, if past interactive models have created user expectation, do not make changes unless there is a compelling reason to do so. So for example, once a particular interactive sequence has become de facto standard, for example, control yes, it is for to save the file. So the user will expect this in every application, so that to be followed. If you try to change control yes for scaling and other things, it will cause confusion. That is the meaning. Then with this we come to the end of this video. If you have any queries, you can contact me on Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Instagram, or you can visit the website and leave your comment there in this engineeringonlineforyou.com. Then if you like the video, press the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel Engineering and Technology for You. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get notifications about our future videos on this subject. Then thanks for watching. Have a nice day.